guys, it's Tara Boothby from Sojourn Psychology, and today I want to try to do some justice on a very serious topic, which is suicide, suicidal thoughts, and what we can do to come alongside of people and make sure that they're doing okay. Before I get rolling, I want you to know that in the description below, I'll be putting the information for the Canadian Suicide Prevention Services. And if you need to talk to somebody or you want to discuss more ways of supporting your community, or if you need to talk, there are services that you can access. So phone numbers, websites, things like that will be in the description below. Back in June, when we had a lot of distress about racial tensions and the importance of really listening to people, I did a video on listening bravely, and once again, this is where we start. We're not necessarily going to know if somebody's suicidal. We're not necessarily going to see these big warning signs that everybody's talking about. Like, what are the warning signs? It's hard. It's really hard to classify how you will see if somebody is getting this hopeless and desperate. But here are a few things about listening. So one of the greatest tools we have as people is to hold space for someone else. This is the key to parenting. This is the key to marriage. This is just the key to being with the people that we love. So as you're listening here, I want you to hold a question in your mind. Who are the people that I love? See those faces, those people that you love. Those are the people that you need to learn how to hold space for. And hopefully you're going to get some ideas here, or at least get going on some strategies of how you can do this. So one of the best pieces of advice or explanations I've heard recently for holding space is, for us to hold space for somebody else, we need to be settled, calm, and rested. I need to be regulated inside. If my central nervous system is frantic, if I'm having heart palpitations, I'm anxious, I'm emotionally dysregulated, it's going to be harder for me to hold space. So if we want to talk to our kids or those people that we love, a good place to begin is to just anchor in. Do the butterfly hug, do some meditation, pray, get into the scripture, whatever it's going to be that calms you down so that you can show up in a way that you will be present, settled, calm, rested, and that when this person is able to be heard by you, it's going to feel good. It will feel better for them because you are better able to focus in and notice their feelings. Being settled, calm, and rested just gives us more capacity to help. Another thing when we're considering listening is just that suicide doesn't always look like distress. And actually the people that I've come alongside of who are wrestling with suicidal thoughts, they didn't look distressed. And they weren't necessarily telling me that they had these thoughts or making it very explicit. So it is a big deal. I mean, for us to get in the habit of listening well, and the people that we love to get in the habit of being heard by us. We long to be seen, heard, and known. Children, young adolescents and adolescents are desperate to be seen, heard, and known. So for you and me, think back to junior high and how awkward it was, and how much distress and fear there is about being weird and awkward. And just notice any sort of flashbulb memories of somebody not seeing you, hearing you, or knowing you, maybe judging you instead, pointing out a flaw that you had, that pimple on your face, or that extra 10 pounds, all those really, really frightening things. So we want to just hone in on the people that we love and see them. Let them know that we see them in their pain. Those things matter. My pain matters and your pain matters. This is key in holding space and listening bravely. The other thing about suicide that's really important to know is that people who are suicidal, they still make plans, they still have goals, they're still thinking about the future. There is this thing about suicide that we think it's like, okay, I'll know if somebody's suicidal because their whole world is stopping and they're not talking about the future, period. That's just not true. We're all people like everybody else. Even suicidal people still think about the future. So I also think it's really important for us, and I apologize, I'm looking at my notes, I want to make sure I'm getting this all right as best as I can, because it is such a big topic and it is gray. It's hard to understand and it's unique to each individual. But what is really key is to know that if I can talk about it, the only thing that's going to happen is maybe I'll get de-escalated. There's a fear that if we talk about suicide, that it is going to become an epidemic, we're going to make it worse, I'm going to inflate the emotion. Emotions go like this. So yeah, if I talk about my pain, I might cry, I might get angry, I might get a little hot, but if you hang in there with me, I'm going to come back down, I'm going to de-escalate. And if I can talk to somebody and they can hold me in my distress, that is corrective. Fred Rogers says, anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. That's key. That's key. That I'm not alone in my pain. Somebody is just listening. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to have the solutions. Listening is key. This is a preventative strategy. Again, who are the people that you love? How are you listening to them? Just holding space. You don't have to have the words. The words will find you. And it can be messy. You don't have to be perfect. You can say it wrong and apologize for saying it wrong. It's more about just being with. And why we don't do this is because we have a collective fear of suicide. Fear of suicide prevents us from speaking about suicide. Fear is a liar. Fear does nothing good for us. So when we really just notice, I'm afraid to talk about suicide, right there we have a solution to know. It's like, well, fear's never done anything good for me in the past. Talking about things is what allows us to find a way to feel more managed about things. Yeah, it's hard to feel powerless. We're going to feel powerless. We're not going to know what to do here. So the big theme is our attachment longing is to be seen, heard, and known just as we are. And it's hard to do that. It's vulnerable to see, hear, and know somebody because people are hurting. But that's your job. See them, hear them, know them, listen. Make a space where they can be heard by you. Your ears matter. They really matter. Okay, guys. There's going to be a few more of these videos, and I hope you're all doing okay. If you need to be listened to, please do find your safe person. And if you're somebody who needs to listen more, remember, who are the people you love? They need you to hear them. That's suicide prevention. Okay. Bye, guys.